It is no secret how awesome the backflip is. It's a super cool party trick you can bust out anywhere. You can throw it into a combo, you can make it flashy and add variation. Everybody loves backflip, but not many people actually know how to do it. And the biggest secret of all is that it's not that hard to learn. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down a super simple progression you can use to land your first backflip today. If you're on your way to becoming a real life ninja, make sure you watch the end of this video so you can learn how to do it, and let's get started. Alright Ninja Squad, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Tricking Tutorials Summer 2022, baby. We have a new tricking tutorial coming out every single Tuesday this summer, so make sure you subscribe, turn that notification bell on so you don't miss an upload, and you can learn as many flips as possible this year. Also, if you find this video helpful, make sure to give me a thumbs up so I know I'm doing a good job. Comment down below what tricking tutorial you want to see next week, and make sure to check out the merch store if you want to support the channel. I really appreciate everybody who helps out. You can get yourself an authentic ninjatic tank top or t-shirt or whatever you want. With all that being said, let's get into learning. All right, now to every successful backflip, there are 3 key steps. There's the jump, or the set as some people call it, the tuck, and the landing. Now in a little bit, we're gonna break down each of those parts that you can work on individually to make it better as a whole move. But for right now, let's just get into the progression. All right, so to start things off, make sure you can do the back handspring. Now, if you haven't seen my tutorial from last week on it, make sure to go check it out. I'll link it right up in this corner here. Pause this video, go watch the back handspring, learn how to do it, come back to this video, and then you can learn the backflip. It's really important that you guys know how to do the back handspring, because this method that I'm gonna teach you, you don't need mats, you don't need a spotter, you don't need a trampoline, you literally need nothing except yourself and your own skills. So make sure you can do the back handspring pretty comfortably, then come back and you're ready to learn the backflip. I'll also link that video at the end of this video if you want to watch it after the fact, but make sure you go learn the back handspring and then come back here for the backflip. All right, so you can do the back handspring. It should be feeling relatively comfortable, and it should probably be looking something like this. It's okay if it's not super clean, super bouncy, that's fine. You just need to be able to do a back handspring where you jump to your hands and then you jump from your hands back to your feet. Now, the biggest thing I like to tell people when you're learning a backflip is to think about it like a super tall back handspring. If you think about it this way, it's going to make the progression a lot easier. So let's get started with step number 1. All right, step number 1, do a regular back handspring. Easy. All right, step number 2, we're gonna think about going up a little bit more instead of so far backwards. Now, if you watched my handspring tutorial, then you remember I talked about it's important to get distance on your back handspring, so that way you don't under rotate. It just makes it look a lot nicer and gives you a lot of power in order to set for the next trick. The backflip is a lot different. You don't want to travel very far, so make sure you start by going up a little bit more. Now again, this can be a gradual progression, so instead of just going straight back like we normally have been, think about going up a little bit more each time until you feel like you're going almost up and straight back down. Now you're going to know if you're doing this correctly, because at this point you should feel like your feet are landing pretty close to your hands when you come out of the back handspring. Again, if you're trying to do a back handspring, this is like the wrong way to do it, but this is the progression we're using from the back handspring to the backflip. So again, step number 1, do the back handspring. Step number 2, we're going to try to jump more up and straight back down for the back handspring, making it as tall as we can, shortening the distance. Step number 3 is also a big no-no that we covered in last week's back handspring video, which is we're going to try to tuck our knees in a little bit towards the top of the back handspring. Now again, if you're trying to do a back handspring, this is not how you're going to do it. You want to be long and flowy like a whip, like we talked about last week, but in order to progress to the backflip, you're going to need to start practicing tucking your knees in at the top. So set up, jump up and straight back down. Try to jump straight up and down like we have been, while this time trying to think about tucking your legs in instead of leaving them longer out like we learned for the back handspring. Once you've practiced this a bunch, you should be feeling like you're basically doing a really bad back handspring and a really bad backflip at the same time. Literally, you're almost there. If you can do this, you can do a backflip. Step number 4 is going to be one of our last steps. So think about trying to touch the ground with your hands and your feet at the same exact time. So wait to put your hands down for the back handspring as long as you can until your feet come around. Now what you're probably gonna end up doing is something looking like this, where you're landing kind of on all fours at the same time, and it's probably gonna feel really weird and look terrible, but that's what you wanna go for. Now the key thing for this step is waiting as long as you can to put those hands down. Obviously you don't wanna face plant into the ground, so make sure you do catch yourself, but the key point, wait as long as possible. And once you're landing with your hands and feet at the same time, it's time to take your hands away. So we're on to step 5. Step 5 is commit. If you got this far, you can 100% do a backflip. So it's time to send it. Just do the same exact set that we have been doing. Go up and back down, tuck your knees in at the top, try not to put your hands on the ground, and boom, that's a backflip. Now what might end up happening is something like this, where you land in a really like crouched position with your feet first and then your hands hit the ground. That's fine. I'm still gonna count that as a backflip. You jumped in the air, you flipped upside down, and you landed back on your feet. Even if your hands touch the ground, that sounds like a backflip to me. All right, so now you can do a backflip. Nice job. Let's go over a couple common mistakes that's gonna help you turn your backflip from this into this. So again, it's totally okay if you're landing like this super low crouch position from the video this far, because that is the whole point. We just want to get you comfortable enough to get around to your feet and then using your own hands as a spot. So just like the back handspring, one of the biggest things I see people doing wrong when they do a backflip is they don't use their arms enough. You're going to generate so much more power if you swing your arms all the way up by your ears trying to reach for the sky than if you just do like this little T-Rex thing that a lot of people do. If you feel like you're really struggling to get the height and landing really low, then chances are you're probably jumping back with your arms close to your chest. You're not swinging them up by your ears, and there's a huge difference that you can make by doing that. Think about it like you're doing a vertical jump. You're trying to touch the rim of the basketball hoop, really jump off of 2 feet, swing your arms up in the air as tall as you can, wrap around into the tuck, and get back to your feet. If you do this, you're probably gonna end up taking your backflip from looking kind of like this to more tall, landing like this. All right, and the second biggest mistake I see people make when they're learning their backflip is they think about it too much like a back handspring. What I mean is they try to shoot way backwards and they don't get enough height at all. Just like you're using your arms to generate more height, you want to use your legs and jump straight up and down. A really good backflip is not going to travel back very far. In an ideal world, you're going to be able to jump straight up and land straight back down in the same exact place you started, and that's going to be a backflip. But let's be honest, most of us don't do that anyway. So instead of leaning back so much and trying to cover more distance with your backflip, which is going to get you a super low landing, you're not going to feel like you're flipping very fast, and it's going to look something like this. You're going to want to try and jump straight up, just like I said for the arm swing. Think about it like a vertical jump. When you're jumping for a vertical, you're not trying to go backwards, right? You're jumping straight up in the air as high as you can, using your arms and your legs together to get height. That's what you want to think about for this. And something that can help is if you pick a target in front of you and you spot it for as long as you can. It can be something as simple as a stick on the ground. Just by looking at that marker, even if it's on the ground in front of you, you're going to keep your head forward, which is going to control your body, right? Where the head goes, the body follows. So keep your head facing forward for as long as you can, and that's going to help you go more up instead of more back. And there you go. If you got this far, you have a solid backflip. See? Not that hard, right? Now do yourself a favor, practice this move as much as you can, because we're coming out with tutorials every single week this summer. So if you missed it, here's the back handspring tutorial. Go check it out if you haven't seen it already. Subscribe so you don't miss another one, and make sure to let me know in the comments which tutorial you want to see next, because I got a ton of them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.